Greetings, disruptors. What happens when queer, Black, and Brown professionals are given space to lead, rest, and be fully seen without having to shrink? Today, we're diving into the movement that's building that space unapologetically. Greetings. We've got Emily and Jessica with us today. Thank you for being here, y'all.
Hello, thank you for having us.
I'm
Super
so
excited to be
excited.
here.
Thank you. I'm so glad that you're here too. My first question for you all is, how do you show up in the world?
You want to take that? No, you take that.
I think you touched upon it unapologetically, but it's definitely been a journey to get to a place where I feel comfortable being authentic in every space that I'm in. So, I'm a particle physicist. I am one of only 150 Black women with a PhD in physics. It's isolating, yeah, and it's othering the spaces the spaces that I traverse. So I think as I got older, I've learned that there's power that comes with being your authentic self. So yeah, there's also just a little bit of like, if they have a problem with me, that's their problem, not mine. So it's freeing. That's how I show up.
I
That's
love
definitely how she shows up.
I love it. I love that level of freedom that you have. I'm excited for you for that.
Definitely.
How about you, Emily?
Definitely some of that has rubbed off over time. But I think I've been a much slower warm up to living authentically. I've always been very quiet, reserved, kept to myself, and I think a lot of that is like my Latina culture of just like be seen, not heard, kind of fall back. So it's been a lot of sort of learning to find my own voice and who I am in the world and how I want to show up, which is very differently now than when even we got together
Yeah.
15 years ago. Um,
And I think that's really showing itself in how we are transitioning our partnership into like a business relationship
Mm.
and being co-founders together. And I mean, for a long time, she's been the scaffolding and the support for me as I flourish and blossom and become, the things that I've
she's kind
become.
of a big deal.
Okay.
Google her.
All right, all
Don't
right.
brush your shoulders off, Jessica. Boom, boom. That's what we do
And
around here. We take up
back to
space.
this one.
Anyways, see, this is really easy for me to fall back, you see.
Exactly. So it's been, I think, very exciting to see her kind of step into the spotlight and find her place in authenticity in the world. So yeah.
I
But
love
it's definitely did you see how quickly she fell back to my like hype woman? Right. So
Oh, well,
it's still a work in progress.
let's talk about that though, Emily. What do you got going on? What's happening?
Well, it was last year,
Mhm.
2020, end of, no, like summer 2024, so almost a year actually.
Yep.
Mhm.
I am a mental health professional. I have been in this field for a little over 10 years now,
Yeah,
which is crazy to say. But
you
last
look so young.
I know, I feel so young too. Um, but last summer, I made the decision to leave the group private practice I was working at and open my own private practice. And that has been a learning process about like how to be a CEO, how to be the owner of a business and figure that out. I always wanted to be my own boss. I had no idea what being my own boss required of me. But I always knew I didn't want people telling me what to do.
Sure.
That I was going to be that person.
I know that's right.
So, Yeah, I think, and I show up in the world mostly in a supportive role. Like we just said, I mean, I'm a therapist, right? So I'm good at listening, I'm good at falling back, and living up here in my own mind.
Mm.
So I am trying to show up in the world a little more vocally in my strengths. Being around people, has, I realize, become so important for me. Yeah.
I love that. Tell me more about your strengths.
What?
She's okay. We just took like a strengths-based, test to figure out how we can work more productively and efficiently as partners.
Right.
Uh, and I think it's been a minute for her to accept that her strengths are strengths.
Mm.
What do you mean?
Well, one of them, she took like a leadership. Well, why am I telling this? You tell it.
Okay, well, some of my strengths that I discovered are like love, harmony, sort of like communication, I think was one. Things that feel and read soft to me when I think of leadership. And when I first took the test, I was like mad. I was like, what is this? This is not helpful. This is not helpful for running a business.
Which test was that?
That was the disc test.
Mm.
So I had to take that as part of the leadership program that I'm
I
in.
love it.
But the longer that I sat with those, the more I was like, oh, these are not skills that come clearly natural to everyone. Like I started talking to some of my peers, and not everyone ranked as highly in some of those categories, like love, empathy, communication. Um, and it took a while for that to settle in and really be like, oh, everything else I can kind of learn.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
those things are part of my core values and like who I am and how I show up as a human.
Yeah.
And that's only going to strengthen my leadership.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
So what I heard is by being my most authentic self, it it just expands everything, right? Because I feel like when we hire people or employers hire you to work in their space, if you're not showing up as your most authentic self, they're losing out because you have a unique voice, unique dynamic that you bring to the table, whoever you might serve, you have a unique point of view, all of those things. So I'm super excited that you know this about you and you are um, embracing it.
Hmm.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Congratulations.
What?
No, I was just gonna say, I think it definitely resonates with me. Like, I mean, we've been together for 15 years, so seeing her move through the landscape, I I know that she moves with love and empathy and connection. And it's something that it's a gift that your dad gave you. Like
Mm.
one of the things her family says about her dad was that he had never met a stranger.
Oh,
And that's something that M has 1,000%. She can walk into a room and leave with best friends in 5 minutes. Like it doesn't take much for her to build community. And that is what Oya Nova is. So the fact that she has that as a strength, I mean, that's what we need for our business.
I love that. That is such a gift. That happens to me all the time too. Going in bathrooms and people are like, I don't know why I'm telling you all this. I love that.
Yep.
Jessica, how about you? So you both took the test. We got to know what your strengths are.
Yeah, and my strengths, I can't think of the ones for Strengths Finder right now, but they fell in the belonging and the execution
Yeah.
category, I
Yeah.
think. So those two, is that what, anyways, they're purple and blue.
Yeah. We're definitely yin and yang. I am quite introverted. I've gotten very good at public speaking, at science communication, but I treated it as a tool as a skill I needed to work on. It's not something that comes as easy as it does for M. Where my strengths lie is in visioning the world that I want to see, and ideation, and being able to see in the future.
Mm,
Like, and that serves me well as a particle physicist, but it also serves me well for building spaces that are equitable and that are safe, that kind of disrupt the
yeah,
current societal frameworks that are kind of there to keep us down. And when I mean us, I mean marginalized folks. So yeah, my brain is always like high in the sky. I can see it so clearly. But I have ADHD. So
she will
implementation.
she will come to me sometimes with these huge ideas, and I'm like, but how are we gonna do it? That's a
right.
great idea.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are steps. There is a process.
Yeah.
Yes.
To me, I'm at 100, 0 to 100, all of the steps in between. I don't know. Somebody's gonna figure it out. I have the vision.
Right. Like I got that part.
Yeah.
Y'all figure the rest out.
Yeah.
I could definitely I think I was thinking yin and yang when you both got started, when the podcast started. And then to hear you say it, it's like, I thought so.
Mm-hmm.
That is wonderful. Um, let's segue because you mentioned Oyanova. Tell us a little bit about Oyanova. What is Oyanova? Oyanova Enterprises?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would say Oyanova is us in a business.
Mm,
We Oyanova is living at the intersection of STEAM, education, financial literacy, and mental health, queerness. And essentially, we brought all of the passion that we have to serve and support the communities that we belong to
right.
into one business. So we have the STEAM from me, and the science communication, and the increasing representation and recruitment and retention of Black and Brown folks in STEM and STEAM. And then we have the support, and the community building and the healing from M and her expertise and passion of supporting our communities that way. So we fuse them together. And that's what you know about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I
I
love
think
that. Hmm.
I was just gonna say that it was really, I think, during the pandemic, like when we were all having our, come to Jesus moment with what the heck is going on outside,
Yeah.
and a lot of walks that we were taking, just I think feeling so down and isolated, and like so many people, the whole world. But we really started talking through what she was experiencing and had experienced in university, at being the only, me in school being the only in my programs,
Mhm.
and just feeling like a lot of what we experienced was very similar. Um,
Even though it was in like different sectors
even though it was in different.
professionally. Yeah.
Hmm. And there has to be a way to like bring these worlds together.
Yeah.
And then she starts having conversations with other Black women physicists, scientists, and it's like everyone she was talking to, all of these Black women are having the same like mental health struggles,
Mm-hmm.
and nobody's talking about it.
Yeah.
And so we're like, okay, there is something here. There's
Mhm.
something to dig in around. And Black women are just dropping out of their science programs, their PhD programs, because they're being pushed out, quite frankly. They're not dropping out. Um, and that started sparking ongoing conversations with us. And then eventually it was like, okay, how are we gonna make this work in a business?
Yeah. Yeah.
So tell us, how are you making this work in a business?
Good question.
Yeah. So I think back to my pie in the sky, visionary thinking. It didn't make
Hang tight.
Yeah, it didn't make sense to me to only focus on one aspect of uplifting a community. And there's been research. I'm a researcher, so I went down the huge rabbit hole of trying to understand how to uplift the community. There's research done that you need to develop what is called a community of practice or a community of transformation, where you not just focus on one aspect of a community, but you have to focus on all aspects of the community and partner with that community to build these social initiatives, and support structures and scaffolding, rather than going in as an outsider, right? So that's the first thing that I thought was really important, is that we are part of the communities that we want to support, and we also make sure that we have a pulse on those communities. And then we started digging into what our expertises are and
Mm-hmm.
how we can develop programming and frameworks and initiatives that are kind of uh, intersectional, right? Cross-cutting across all aspects of a community.
Yeah.
So that's the big vision of Oya Nova, right? Is that we aim to be a hub, a center where you can get any sort of support or
Care.
programming or care, when it's like a one-stop shop type of thing at Oya Nova. How we're turning that, I say, theory into practice is with Oya Nova Healing, which focuses specifically on the mental wellness aspect of it. We have workshops and trainings through the enterprises umbrella. And then we
Mm-hmm.
have events like Queer Quest that we're putting on at the end of October. We're partnering with the Center on Halstead, which is one of the biggest LGBTQ plus centers in the Midwest.
Mm.
And we aim to create, again, another safe haven space for Black and Brown STEAM and mental health professionals to fill their cup. So it's specifically about
Mm.
filling their need.
Mhm.
We recognize that a lot of times marginalized folks in both of our fields, we become the ones that are mentors. We become the ones that have to fill into folks that are coming after us. We become the ones that have to hold that lead door open so
Absolutely.
more folks like us can come in, and that is challenging, and it's isolating, and it's burdensome.
Exhausting.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we want to help, obviously, the people coming behind us, but when it's constant, right? Everyone expects that you will and expects that you have the energy
And the
to do that and the
capacity.
capacity.
Yeah.
Um, and that's challenging. So, like, if we can build a community, fill their cup, then like we can just sort of amplify outwards,
Yeah.
right? But we have to come inward first
And focus
and
on.
care for each other
Yeah.
before we can go back out and keep doing that.
Absolutely. I love this so much. This is like everything in one. So you put it all together to serve the whole and the good of the community. I love that. What have you learned so far? What's it been like?
Well, one thing I think I've learned, one is that we can do hard things. In 2023, so this is kind of our first year, 2020, end of 2024, beginning of 2025 has really been like our first year getting out there, kind of doing things like
As a business.
as a business.
Yeah.
But in 2023, we already had our business established, Oyanova Enterprises, and we hosted our first event called QBIT at the Museum of Science and Industry here in Chicago.
Awesome.
And it was geared towards middle school students, and it was at the exact same intersection, mental
Queerness.
health, queerness, and STEAM. And we had this crazy idea that we wanted to try this. And so we tried it. We just contacted the Museum of Science and Industry, said, I have this idea. What do you think? Could we make it happen? And they said yes. So then we're like, oh my God, now we have to do it.
Right.
So then we did it and we just put out cold calls. Like, I mean, we were baby business. We still are. People didn't really know us. And we put out cold calls to the community about like who would be willing to support us, host a booth, just like show up and pour into these Black and Brown middle school students.
Yeah.
And we got a really good turnout. People showed up and just witnessing, I think all of these students who are oftentimes just counted out, and just
Mhm.
like cast aside, like come into the space and just have so much joy and play with science and mental health and like their bodies. We had a Black woman yoga instructor do some like chair yoga with the students, and just to see them all like light up and
Mhm.
filled with excitement and joy around these things was
Yeah.
like, okay,
We can do
we
this.
can do this.
We did
Yeah.
it.
It sounds like room to breathe.
A
Like this is
hundred
like,
percent.
Yeah.
yeah, I love that. So tell us more then about Queer Quest.
Same concept for Qubit,
Yeah.
but now with adults.
Yeah.
It turns out working with kids, though joyful, is challenging because parents and
Yeah.
schools. You need a lot of consent, obviously. We had schools pull out because of the focus on queerness. Um, and we're not even thinking about queerness like identity.
Or
We're thinking
sexuality.
about like how, well, yeah.
So the term qubit is a unit of quantum measurement. And
Mhm.
when you go into the quantum realm, things get queer. There's no other way to explain it. It's weird. There's no up, down. There's no left, right. There's no concept of time or space. Everything is just wonky and weird. And that is the fundamental physics of our universe. All of
Mhm.
us are built from quantum mechanical principles. So I use that as an entry point to kind of underscore and value the identities of people that feel queer in their spaces. So it could be queer as, gayness, but it also could be queer as being the only, right? Like I've felt most of my life in this career phase or stage. So we definitely use it as um a way to highlight that just because you feel different or weird or not in line with your friends or your coworkers or your school, that doesn't mean that you are outside or not an integral part of the world or our
Mhm.
universe, because
Absolutely.
you fall much more in line with the foundational physics of our universe than
Mhm.
folks that feel totally normalized or in sync with the world. So that's what Qubit is, and that's what QueerQuest is for mental health professionals and STEAM professionals. And I think it comes at a really good time because this year is the International Year of Quantum. We've been talking about quantum mechanics in the physics realm for 100 years.
Mm.
So it really underscores the awesomeness that is quantum and how much, technological advancements that we've been able to push with the concept of understanding this really weird physics, and using that as a way to kind of highlight and box that like queer folk, we are so integrated into the fabric of the universe, and the foundational physics just highlights that. So
It
yeah,
makes
that's
me think about I don't fully know it all, but I follow a little bit of astrology and I'm into, tarot cards and all of that. And I know that there's been conversation around just like how things are lining up that you've never seen in so many thousands of years or hundreds of years, and the planets are aligning and things like that. So is that kind of why this is the International Year of Quantum, or is it more physical and tangible? Like what does that
So it's
really
not
mean?
physical and tangible. When you think about quantum mechanics, I mean, I think that's why I'm such a good physicist, is because you can't see it, you can't touch it, you can't feel it, you can't pinpoint it
It's
on
very
space and
hard for
time.
me.
It's a very difficult concept to grasp, but my head is always in the sky. So to me, it makes a little bit of sense. I mean, particle physicists are still struggling with what that actually means.
I love
But
this.
I would say it's more a historical underscore of the field of physics in general, particle physics in general. We 100 years ago, some old white guy said something's weird with how particles are interacting. They're not they're not reacting to the experiment the way I expect it to. Something is different. Something is amiss. Something's queer. And that conversation has been going on for 100 years, and we've definitely, moved from what is going on to now we have names for it, and now we know that the particles are acting weird because of this uh, physics concept. But yeah, that I think that's why it's the International Year of Quantum, is because for 100 years, this has been at the forefront of conversation for scientists.
I love this. I was talking with a friend of mine who has this amazing mind. I want to go back and look at my notes now because he is he's some kind of physicist too. And he was talking about, I think there are like kind of like three categories. And it kind of we kind of got on the conversation of astrology ultimately. I believe, if I'm remembering right. Oh my gosh, and this is making me think about that, like that other category of what that dynamics is. I am not uniquely qualified as you, Doc, to probably have this conversation, but I feel like I want to put you all two together, and like y'all could just go ham and have a conversation all day about this.
That usually happens when you put two scientists in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We jam.
Can confirm. Can
Yeah.
confirm.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that. That's gonna happen because I love this so much. I'm just in awe of how, and we know, right, how these things kind of just happen, right? They're dropped in your spirit, dropped in your heart, and it's like it just doesn't leave you alone until you do something with it. Um, and
Mm-hmm.
with that, what's the goal? What's the vision for Queer Quest, and what's going on now? Like I want to know so much more.
What what's the vision? Well, what's going on? I mean, at the beginning of this year, um, we've had the idea for Queer Quest for a while. And at the beginning of this year, I had a challenge as part of a leadership part of a leadership institute that I was doing,
Mhm.
and I pitched the event. I was like, well, I don't have anything else to pitch. I don't know what to do besides this thing. And the woman, Jolie from the Center on Halsted, she's the CEO right
Mhm.
now. CEO? Anyways, she's the boss right now. She was the one I was pitching to, and I put it out there in the universe, and she said, put Center on Halsted down for space. And I was like, what? I literally couldn't believe it. Um, I was in pure
You
shock.
put it in the universe.
Yeah, I put it into the universe. I mean, that's a testament to like closed mouths don't get fed, right? Like if
Absolutely.
nobody knew this, it would probably still not be happening.
Yeah.
And so we got the space from Center on Halsted. We're partnering with them. And so where are we at now? currently we are looking for partners to help us bring this to life. We have our first keynote speaker confirmed. Yeah.
You're just gonna have to wait
Yeah,
until
you're
we
just gonna
announce.
have to wait. We're really
But it's
excited.
super
Oh, we can't announce it yet.
We
Okay.
have
Can
not
we
put it
at
out
least
there.
announce a date? Do you have a date? Like,
Yes.
what can we announce?
Yeah.
It's October 11th and 12th. It's at the Center on Halsted. And excitingly, it's also going to be a satellite event for Arlen Hamilton's Your First Million Live events.
We have
So-
not put that out there. I didn't know she was gonna do
Yeah,
that right now.
yeah.
So you heard it here first on DisruptHer Coaching.
Well, let me tell y'all, Arlen is one of my mentors. Are you all?
That's wild.
Yes, I'm going to be spending time with her. Are you all going to ROI?
We are not going to ROI.
Okay. After well, she's speaking at an ROI,
Uh-huh.
and then I have a BIP session with her.
Mm-hmm.
2 days after that, I'm in her mastermind. She has a
Mm.
mastermind inner circle. I'm in her inner circle. So to hear her name, I love that. I'll have to
She's the best.
make sure I support.
Yeah.
We met her and just the way she rallied.
Yeah.
Uh,
It was really validating and affirming to see someone at her level be like, yeah, no, I see Queer Quest. I recognize the importance it is to our community and
Absolutely.
how needed it is. And I also don't see why this cannot come to fruition.
and she's like, I just don't know why you're getting no's or people not supporting you about this. And there is something just about being around that energy and
Yeah.
being around that presence of someone who gets it and sees
Mhm.
it and is like, of course it's gonna happen. Why wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That has just been the fuel behind our back right now.
Yeah, definitely. So I mean, let me just recap, right?
Absolutely.
Queer Quest was a crazy vision in my brain at the intersection of quantum mechanics, mental health, and STEAM, right? That has now is a reality with founding partners of Center on Halsted, one of the biggest LGBTQ centers in Midwest, and Arlen Hamilton, a large VC.
Absolutely.
So like,
So here we
that's where
go.
we're at.
I also want to say like the importance of having Black women at the forefront of this event because Jolie Robinson from Center on Halsted, she is a Black woman, who just said yes, yes, I see it, 100%. And then Arlen Hamilton, never in my wildest dreams did I think, like as I was reading her book however many years ago now, that this would be in front of her and she would be, we'd be a satellite event for her. Yes. Oh, there she is. Yeah.
Come
I
through.
mean,
Oh, there you
just
go.
a wonderful human. You go buy that book, everyone. Both of them.
Endorsed. I love this. And her first book actually, it's about damn time.
That was the first
So
one I
good.
read, yeah.
Yeah, that was so good. Wow, this is hella cool.
We think so.
What else can you share or do you want us to know about Queer Quest, Lord.
You got there.
I got teeth problems, so sometimes what I'm saying comes out like Elmer Fudd.
All good.
I've been to a lot of conferences in my day,
Mhm.
like a ridiculous amount of conferences. And the connecting thread or tissue across all of them
Yeah.
is this idea of professionalism, which is a code for leaving your authenticity at home. That is not what Queer Quest is going to be. Like, we are centering Black and Brown marginalized folks in this field, queer folks. It's it's you first. It's us first, right? And obviously there's going to be professional development. Obviously there's going to be mental health resources and support, but we are completely reimagining what a conference or a retreat should look like. And I think that's what I'm really, really excited about.
Yeah, so we have experts from both of our fields coming together, and I mean, we're going to be talking burnout, we're going to be talking healing, and we really want there to be like an overlap in the communities, so like cross-pollination between both of our communities, and learning. Like for me, it's how can mental health therapists come fill their cup, but also be pulled into this world that I've been pulled into because of who I love, and just learn from each other.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So what can we expect? How are we making that happen?
With so we have a very large vision of what our exhibit hall and hands-on activations are going to be. We're tapping into tech and also fusing that with mental wellness practices. So
Mm.
really showing kind of like bio feedback on what meditation will look like. We're tapping into our ancestors and having echo chambers where we can be totally enveloped and surrounded and loved by our
Mm.
ancestors, our clear black and brown
I
ancestors.
love you.
We're
Oh,
going to have amazing talks and panels from experts in both the fields of wellness and STEAM. We're going to just be talking about how we can take this idea of filling our cup back with us into our daily day-to-day lives, and really changing the conversation about what it means to do self-care, right? And not have that be something that's selfish,
mm.
but an integral part of how we can succeed in our fields.
Mm.
So yeah.
Mhm. And that self-care isn't, I mean, we all know it's not a bubble bath at this point, but it is also just not, it's not just talk therapy either. Like it's not just going to meet with your therapist one-on-one every week. That's important. Obviously, I'm a therapist, I know that. It's needed, but also being in community, and it, just tapping into, I think, what our communities already know about healing. What
Mm.
we want to do is just bring
Bring
that
that
to
to
the
the forefront.
forefront.
Ah.
Jinx. We did not plan that. That happens all the time.
I could tell. I saw it earlier. I love it. I love this so doggone much. So, what needs to happen for people that hear this and they want to show up, they want to pull up, they want to support? Like, what are we doing? What are we talking about?
Yeah, so we have many, many ways that folks can plug in. I think the first is sponsorship or partnership. So if your organization it really wants to come into like a forward-thinking space where we're talking about quantum mechanics, or we're talking about mental wellness, this is the conference for you.
I was gonna say, honestly, we don't even have to talk about it. It can just be that you care about it and you want to help make it happen.
Yeah, yeah. So we
Yeah.
have partnership opportunities.
We have partnership opportunities from $1,000 all the way up to like a custom
Yeah, a
that
custom.
is more hands-on involved, more of a partnership for like a year with us. So that would be a custom thing.
Yeah.
But
We also have sponsor a spot. So if you are an individual who knows of somebody that needs to be at this conference, at this retreat, you can sponsor their spot. And then we're looking for partners for developing the activations and the want it to be filled with like awesome queer black quantum art. So if you're an artist who thinks that this could be a great place for you to, show your art, contact us. Like we're really wanting to connect with the community. And that's one of the main reasons why we're so fortunate and excited and happy to be partnered with the Center on Halstead, which is
Yeah.
like a community staple.
Mhm.
And we're just really gonna drive that through every aspect of what this retreat is.
And if anyone listening knows trap heels, just connect us. And if you're not familiar with trap heels, Google them.
Yeah.
Google them and check them out anyway, because they are also amazing in the installations that they do.
Mm-hmm.
And that, when we're thinking about our activation space, I mean, if you just Google them, that would be our pie in the sky of like
Exactly.
of what an activation space would be.
But I'm saying
They're incredible. Yeah.
shoot your shot. So we're going to clip up this video when we're done. So y'all make sure you get it to where they can see it.
Okay, we'll
We
do.
will.
Have that community tag them all over the spot. Blow up the spot.
I
Like,
mean, they are part of what inspired the Tech Activation
Exactly.
Hub.
Yeah.
So we saw some of their work on a show, and we were like, that would be so cool if we could bring something like that to life.
Mm-hmm.
We're crazy
absolutely.
like that. We don't count ourselves out.
No, we really don't.
I didn't think you would. I love this so doggone much. I'm just taking a look here. I'm going to bring it up, see if we got anyone that has joined us. If you all are joining us and you have questions, drop your questions. If you want to sponsor, and I imagine just, are you accepting financial support as well? What does that
Mhm.
look like?
So that's, I mean, mostly through the sponsor spot.
Yeah.
The biggest, I think what might be the biggest barrier is finances always, especially right now with how things are with money. And it's a scary time. So I think the biggest way people can make an impact if they are not working in a sponsorship, like one-on-one,
Organizational
organal,
partnership.
yeah, in a partnership in that way, then they can sponsor a spot or multiple spots.
Yeah.
That way we can tap into our community that we know here, and they can have a ticket.
Yeah.
I can see that this can like spread all over the country.
So can Ireland.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
I
definitely, I mean, we are treating this and viewing this as an inaugural event that we will host annually that potentially could travel.
go on tour. Yes.
Yeah.
I love this so doggone much. Well, thank you for coming on the show to even talk about this. I'm super excited for you. Let's let's let me ask you a couple of questions because I'm just blown away. So I am known as a disruptor, and I want to know what has the disruptor in you had to what has the disruptor in you had to disrupt?
Systems that were never made for us to thrive. I've Yeah. So there's a moniker that I use when I'm like facilitating any equity oriented workshops or trainings. And I say that I am in the business of creating friction because change does not happen without that friction, without that conflict. And it's scary. Like, I'm, you know, Latina as well. And like, one of the things that we don't do is like drum up, conflict.
Be seen, not heard.
Yeah.
Remember? Remember from the beginning.
Yeah. But even in that vein, like my family, we're a family of women and we're loud and we yell and we're passionate and we speak our mind because that's something that my mom instilled in us at a
Right.
very young age. And that's something that I take into everything that I do. So even though at a community level, as a Latina, we're supposed to be demure and a wallflower and seen and not heard and all that. As a woman, right, in this patriarchal society, we're supposed to be seen and not heard and pretty and blah blah blah.
You are speaking my language, girl.
But like that's That's never been me. That's never been my mom. That's never been our non-nuclear family. Uh, we've been disrupting since birth, like for real. And I think as I've gotten older, I'm starting to recognize and be able to name and identify these systems of oppression. So I now know there's a system that needs to be broken. Where's the nut that's loose? Where's the bolt that I can unscrew? That's me.
That's your disruption.
How about you, Emily?
I think naturally mine's much more internal. She goes and messes around out there, and I gotta mess around in here before I go out there and do that.
Mm-hmm.
But going back to what I said earlier, I think it's a lot of internal work and mental work for me to disrupt my own understanding of who I am and how I should show up in the world or should not show up in the world, right? And so for me, it's really been disrupting like all of these patterns that I have grown up with that like you're too loud, you're too much, you're too fill in the blank. We all have them. But for me, it's really about disrupting those internal monologues that tell me to be quiet, sit down, um, stop taking up space. You're taking up too much space. Don't be seen. Um, yeah, that's what it's been for me.
I'm proud of you. That's a lot, right? That's a lot
It's a
sometimes.
lot.
Yeah, especially when it's coming from the inside out.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Y'all are amazing. Amazing. This is going to blow the hell up in a good,
Speak it into
fantastical
the
way.
universe.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I have no doubt in my mind. It's at one point I got chills. I was like, oh my God, this is so freaking good. Um, I'm almost speechless, and I'm never speechless. I love to talk. I have a whole podcast about fun conversations. Let me ask you, what's one moment of transformation that shook you in one of the spaces you held?
I think I would go to the work that I've done as co-founder of Black in Physics. It's a nonprofit that we started in 2020 during the civil unrest in our country. And we created the Black in Physics Week, like many of the Black and X, initiatives, grassroots movements that happened across Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think I had a vision. I had a vision of creating a week where we are supporting Black physicists holistically, letting them grieve communally for what was going on in the country, and
Yeah.
at the same time highlighting their amazing excellence in the field,
Mm-hmm.
without this tug and pull of them needing to be separate, like them being human and also awesome scholars, right?
Right.
And we developed programming that integrated both of them, right? So at the top of the day, we could be talking about careers at national labs, right? And by the end of the day, we have open mic night with folks,
Oh,
talking
shoot.
about their poetry, whether it's with regards to the work that they do in physics or them being a Black queer person in America. And I think it was just so life filling to be able to be a part of building that space,
Yeah.
seeing Black physicists across the world come to these uh, programs, tap into the community, and really just be affirmed that a space like that, where we're bringing in the human and the professional of a Black scientist, of a Black physicist is needed and is wanted. And I think that just further kind of propelled us into developing Oya Nova. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
That was
love
wild. That they pulled that off. It was a time.
Yeah. And it was I mean, no, we had like values that we wanted to adhere to. Like a lot of the times, Black scholars are tapped to talk about how they survived in these, white cis het dominated spaces, talk about all the skills that they've developed in traversing these spaces for
it.
free. That's
Mhm.
always like, we want to invite you to this conference. No, we don't want you to talk about your work, but can you talk about your Blackness? And no, we're not going to pay you. Right. So that was one of the big values that we had, was that I don't want to tap into the community that's already overextended, that's already
Absolutely.
burnt out, that's already grieving collectively, to have them do free labor.
Absolutely. We've done that. Been there, done that.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
we will not be doing that for Queer Quest either.
No.
We will be paying people. We don't know from where.
Yeah.
But
We know it's
Crowdfunding.
coming. It's coming.
it's coming. But it
Yeah.
is a value. People will be paid. They're going to come participate in this. And if you're leading a panel or a workshop or a keynote
We
speaker,
value their experience, we value their expertise, and we don't do it in exposure.
it will not be paid in exposure.
Absolutely. So, Emily, I posed the question to you as well. What's one moment of transformation that shook you in one of the spaces you held?
I mean, I think it goes back to what I said earlier about Qubit, and letting, just let Black and brown people live. You know, seeing the youth in that space come alive when they are engaging with science, when they're just like freed up and like, no, ask the question. What's the question? And being encouraged to engage. It's like it felt like a breath of fresh air. I think you said something similar earlier. It just felt like this is the meaningful work that we want to do. We want to create spaces where you can come, play, be held, have fun. Like, we have to address our trauma, but it is not our whole story. There is so
Exactly.
much more to us, and that is not going to be the thing that we highlight um, and rely on. We need our joy.
Yeah. And I think so
I love this.
I have a book coach, and she's been helping me get to the finish line with this book I'm writing. And yesterday I told her that I was struggling in the chapter that I was writing.
Hmm.
And she said two things that really, I don't know, just cracked me open, I think. The first is, nobody's going to want to read what you're writing if you're not enjoying when you're writing it. Seems like duh, but like, duh. And the second thing that she said was, you need to work from a space of productive joy. And I
Hmm.
think, to me, that is like the essence of what Queer Quest is going to be. Like, we get it. We have to work, right? There is work to do to uplift our community. And a lot of the people that are going to be attendees of Queer Quest, I know, are doing the double, the triple shifts to, do the full-time job and then do the activist job on the side. I get
Right.
that. There's work to be done, but we also need to take care of ourselves, and we have to do it from a space of productive joy.
I
100%.
love this so much. I love that term, productive joy. I'm borrowing that. Um, what this is just so much. You all have come so far in this space. What else has supported you and helped you in your journey that you might recommend to someone else? Book,
Mm.
podcast, someone's work? Like what we got for the people?
I'm laughing because what fuels this household is a dance party in the kitchen, Tina Turner, Beyonce, Janelle Monáe.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
That, I'm not kidding. That, I mean, we can be down and out and we're like, okay, to the kitchen, turn on a
It's not a
song.
big kitchen,
It's
like,
not a big
it's
kitchen,
it's not a
okay?
dance hall, but we make it work.
But the
This.
way music just brings life and joy and excitement back into us. So I don't know. Arlen Hamilton's book, Rachel Rogers' book, these amazing Black women who insist on taking up space and finding your voice and your why. Obviously, those are my recommendations, but personal recommendations are just find the thing that makes you happy and do that, because we have to do that right now more than ever.
And find the community that fuels you. That's something that I learned as a graduate student. I was the only of everything in my grad program. Second Black woman to graduate from Syracuse with a PhD in physics. It was isolating.
You like how she just keeps like making these drops of like, oh, I started a nonprofit. Oh, I'm just one of 150 Black women. Okay, anyways.
I love this.
I'm so glad you can't see me blushing. Anyways, I wasn't finding the community that I needed at the university. So I went and found it. And that meant going to work for Lane Bryant, which was filled with Black and brown, plus size, beautiful, queer women that saw all of the facets of me, not just the scientist in me, not just the Black woman in me, but they saw all of me. And it was so life affirming. And I would not have made it through the program if it weren't for those women. So find that community, and it may be unconventional, right? Like,
nobody goes to grad school and is like, a part-time job will be the thing that gets me through, you know?
Absolutely.
But the way that it changed her whole demeanor, I mean, she was depressed.
I was.
It was bad. And the way that
I was ready to quit. Like, I wasn't going to make it, but it was that shift, that community of girls, that really women that helped me through. And they were there, rah-rahing me when I graduated with that PhD. They were there at our wedding.
Shout
find your
to
community.
the Lane Bryant squad.
Yes.
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 Absolutely. I love that. How about you, Emily?
Oh, wait, what was the question? I lost the question.
Let me go back and find the question. What
I thought I answered it first. Tina Turner.
Yeah,
Beyonce.
Right, the dance party. Y'all, menopause is real, let me tell you. I have it written right down here too. Dance party in the kitchen. And Arlen and Rachel. I love that. I love this so much. We've got 2 questions left.
All right.
Where can the people find you? Anything else you want them to know?
So you can go to our website, oyanova.com. We have a partner with us section. Please, anybody and everybody that wants to donate, that wants to volunteer, that wants to be a partner organizationally, reach out to us there. There's also going to be a link, I think, somewhere. I don't know. Never done this, whatever.
It's going to be in the description box.
In the description box to go specifically to our Queer Quest page. And then I think, I hope it's not a downer, but I want to end with.
Oh, she's gonna end with a downer.
Yeah.
All right. I'll think about how to bring us back up. How to bring us back.
So unfortunately, Pride Month ended with started, yeah, with the murder of Jonathan Joss, who was the voice actor in King of the Hill, Latino, queer, living in San Antonio, where Em and I went to undergrad. It's the city that we fell in love with. It's the city that we fell in love with, the city that we fell in love with each other as well. And I think it's just very sad, and so close, I think, to who we are as people, where we grew up. And it fuels me even more to create these spaces that are safe for our communities, that highlight the joy that we bring into the world. And I think I just want to end with like, take care of yourselves, find the people that you need to love, and to fill you with joy and to grieve with, because it is, times are really hard right now. And if you're not part of these communities that are marginalized, it's easy for you to stick your head in the sand and be like, well, they're not coming for me. But, there's that saying, right? When in fact they do come for you, because this is the world that we're living in right now,
Right.
where communities, where cultures, where groups are being persecuted. Like, what's it going to be like because you've stuck your head in the sand this whole time? Who's going to be there for you to ask for help? So, cautionary tale.
What
Thank you for
the hell?
coming. Thank you for coming to Jessica's TED Talk.
Right? Yeah. We
Yes.
should have done that at the top of the hour so we could turn this ship around.
We are here for it.
But I think it's true. Um, that was really devastating, and it's really devastating to see how, they are spinning the story already,
Yeah.
and painting this person out to be, when at the end of the day he was still murdered. And what, I mean, this isn't new. It's nothing new. They have been killing us, they have been disappearing us, they have been making our lives hell. Um, but we are still gonna be here. We will still be here finding joy, resisting,
Being loud, being
and
out.
linking arms. I think that
Right.
is what Oya Nova is too. We want to link arms with people who want to go and move forward with us and see the vision.
Yeah.
We can't do it alone. We
Yeah.
can't.
And even though it was a downer, to me, I think it's important to talk about it. Like, we can't
Absolutely.
ignore what's going on around the world. We can't ignore the harm that's being perpetuated in our communities. Like, we need to voice it, and we need to like say what it is.
Absolutely.
That's it. It's, language is so important, and
Absolutely.
underscoring it and highlighting it and just saying this is what happened, and we saw it, and it's wrong, and it hurts, and we're grieving, but that's not,
It's not all of us.
yeah,
It's not the end of the story.
there's still a lot more life that we have.
Absolutely. Emily, anything else you want to share?
I don't think so.
I love you, babe.
I love you too. That's good.
I,
That's
I
good
love
news.
you both. I love you and appreciate that you came on the show to share everything, like everything, right? My condolences um in this tragedy and this loss. I had not heard of it. I don't watch the news
That's very
Protect your
real.
mental health.
or
Yep.
TV. And yeah, it hurts my heart to hear that. I'm appreciative that you all trusted me enough to come on the show and create this opportunity and space for you to share your voices, share your vision, share the business, share the beautiful work that you are doing in both of your areas of expertise. I love this so much for you. Wow. I love this so much for you.
Thank you. I don't know where an hour went. I don't, it
I
came and
thought
went.
that's what's going to
It's
happen, right?
gone.
So I have one final question.
All right.
Do you have any questions for me?
Do you?
Do you?
I don't think so. I
All
feel
right.
like I feel like I'm back in school and I should have had a question.
No. Sometimes as we go through these, I've been doing all of the asking of the questions, and there's a question that's lingering. If there's no question that's lingering, I think we hit it all on the head, then that's a good time. Anything before we go to the people? Any final words? Anything that we didn't cover that you wanted to cover?
We'll see you at Queer Quest. Oh,
What she said. We will see you at Queer Quest. Y'all know how it is. Until next time, take good care of you. Absolutely.